Today we're sharing some tips on how to shoot better B-roll for your cinematic sequence. Let's do this.
And all three working together, that's powerful.
And welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Alex Gasaway and my channel is all about creativity, business, and purpose. And today we're talking about how to make your B-roll better for your cinematic sequence. Get that buttery stuff that we all know and love on YouTube. And we have here joining us, Jake Frew. He has an amazing channel. You're definitely gonna wanna go check him out after this, but he's here. We're gonna hit Long Beach. You excited?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna shoot some B-roll and it's gonna be epic. And make sure to stick around because I'm saving the absolute best tip for last. Let's get into it. First tip to shooting better B-roll for your cinematic sequence is to have movement. That can either mean your camera moving, your subject moving, or even better, both moving. One thing that I love doing, especially if I'm shooting in 120 or 60 frames per second, I know that I'm going to slow that down in post. I love to have my camera moving one direction and the subject moving in the other direction so that they kind of meet in the middle. So for example, if I have Jake shooting some awesome sunset B-roll here, I would direct him to face one way and move towards the camera while I move the camera in the opposite direction. This is some classic YouTuber shooting YouTuber camera on camera content right here. Another great way to mix it up is to have some of those locked off shots that can either be an establishing shot or something that you want to really focus on how the subject is moving. But that makes it even more key that your subject is moving if you're locked off, because otherwise it's going to be real boring B-roll.
What are we doing? Another tip to remember is just to always be on the look for capturing emotions. This isn't something that you can plan, so during the entire time you're shooting B-roll, be on the lookout for just people smiling or laughing, or any raw emotion that you can capture really helps the user just relate more to the footage they're seeing and be a little more invested in what they're seeing.
I think what Jake is really good at doing and what can be really fun in YouTube videos is not just looking for other people smiling, but also capturing your own emotion. Because if you don't seem like you really care about what's happening, why would your audience care about what's happening? Instead of telling us what you're doing and having no emotional reaction, show us how you feel about what's going on. And for another tip, most of the time we're trying to keep our footage really smooth. You know, we're working that camera movement, trying to keep it as stable as possible. But sometimes you want to just match the camera movement to the emotion that you want your audience to feel. So if it's a really intense moment, or if it's action, maybe you want a little bit more camera shake, or sometimes when I'm shooting sports, I want to match that handheld camera movement to the action of the subject. That technique can make for some really dynamic and epic B-roll. Cool.
Nailed it.
Oh, yes.
Next tip is using your foreground to make a shot more interesting. For example, if you have a bush or a plant or even a wall to kind of cover a little piece of your lens, that's going to make the shot just have a little more depth and have something that can add motion into the front.
You're trying to capture the feel, the mood of where you are and what you're doing. So find something, move past it, push through it, use the foreground and keep it in your shot the whole time. Just use it to show that motion of the shot. It'll make everything a little more cinematic, more engaging. And that brings us to the next tip, which is in-camera transitions. We're so used to seeing this on YouTube now. It's been done by some amazing people, some amazing channels, and it's pretty widespread at this point. But Hollywood has been using this technique for so many years. Getting a good understanding, getting good at in-camera transitions is a great way to be fully ready to shoot for the edit, which can be an absolutely invaluable skill for storytelling, shooting for clients, basically anything you want to do with video. For the next tip, Jake.
All right, so sometimes it's kind of easy to use slow motion as a crutch with your B-roll. So it's really important to mix in a different variety of frame rates with your shots. So when you're combining 24p with 60p shots, you add some energy to the footage, and you kind of just keep the viewer guessing, and it makes it a lot more captivating to watch.
I think 24p can make it feel a lot more like the viewer is actually there with you, so mixing that in is important.
I actually film everything I shoot in 60p, so that way it's recording audio. I can use it as 24p footage with audio if I want, or I can slow it down and make it slow motion B-roll. So it's beneficial to just have those options.
And last but not least, the absolute #1 most important tip I can give you on creating better B-roll for your cinematic sequence is to have multiple angles on every action, every scene. If you count the number of angles that a Hollywood movie or TV show has, the minimum is 6 on a scene. Even a quick scene of dialogue, they will have at least 6 camera angles. If we want to create a similar engaging sequence, we have to have multiple angles on every single action. So oftentimes that means if you are shooting a subject, asking them to do things 3 times, 10 times, 15 different takes on the same exact action. So maybe that means that 3 takes you're getting the one angle perfect, and then the next 3 takes you're getting a close-up of that same action, then you're getting the feet or the camera or the face. That's where you're really going to captivate your audience and get them really engaged in your story, because ultimately this whole thing is about bringing your audience along on a story and making them feel what it was like to be there. Even when you're filming with your best friends, sometimes it feels awkward to ask them to do things multiple times. You just have to get over that fear. Oftentimes the people that you're shooting with want you to just tell them what you want them to do. You can get it done quicker that way. But if you want to do it right, if you want to get a ton of angles, it will add some time to whatever it is that you're actually doing. Would you say 20 minutes? Always plan for an extra 20 minutes of added time to whatever it is you're doing in your daily life if you want to get multiple angles on that scene.
Which we didn't do at all because we only have 1 hour left until
We're chasing the sun, okay? You just gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Hope you enjoyed those tips for better B-roll in your cinematic sequence. Don't go anywhere, because somewhere on the screen is a video we shot for Jake's channel. What was that about?
Yeah, my video is about how to film by yourself and ways to get better solo B-roll.
It's gonna be epic. Go check it out, and I will see you in the next one.
It was a freaking whirlwind of a tutorial.
Yes, it
Or a
was.
tour of Long Beach. We did it, I think.
Awesome.